probably promote the Twitter version. All right. This is They Live with Andrea Rovenowski.
Andrea Rovenski. That is
Rovenski.
my name.
All right.
Thank you for forgetting who I am. I appreciate that. It's only been like what, a month since we've spoken, and you've already forgotten me.
Yeah. I threw an extra "owski" in there, I think.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's very,
The phobia of Eastern European surnames is very strong here.
yeah. But yeah, it's good seeing you again. It's been a while. Um, let me see if this has popped up on the Twitter. I'm just doing these kind of like whenever now instead of every night, which is not good for viewership, of course. Here it is. Good. It's popped up now on Periscope, which is a good one to share. So yeah, I mean, a lot of shit going on. I mean, you've always been talking a lot about people not wearing masks and focusing a lot on that. Are you still in stress mode over that, or how's that
Oh, I
going
don't go
on?
outside.
You
I
don't
think I've mentioned this before, but I've got an arsenal of food. It's hidden behind a pillow. You may see dressers with food in them. I'm good. I don't need to go
Mhm.
outside. I go outside sometimes, but I try not to because I live in North Carolina. I live in bumfuck motherfuck, as I like to call it. So we got a
Mhm.
lot of dumbasses here. So I mean, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Did you see this? I've looked at the Intercept article on it, and I looked at the original thing that happened about it. But there's this guy. I can't even remember his name now. That's how much I cared about it. He's this candidate. Hey, Fern, second best North Carolinian you had on the show. Oh,
Oh shit!
that's not very.
Did I
That's not very
lose?
nice.
How did I lose?
Um,
I
I don't
didn't
know.
even know I was competing.
I don't know who the other North Carolinian is. So maybe Fern
Is
will
there
want
okay?
to.
Real quick for chat room. I
Mhm.
see nothing. Wait. Okay, I see comments. Never mind. I don't know how to use StreamYard. I've exposed myself as an amateur. We're good. All right, go.
All right, you can see the comments, so you can
Yes.
see that on the side, yeah, and I
I
can
have
put them on
been
the screen. So
I've been attacked. I have been
Fern,
maligned.
yeah, Fern wants he needs a lot of maintenance. I think is the thing. Um, but so there's this guy. I don't know if someone in the chat room remembers his name, but he's a gay candidate, like 30 or something, and there's supposed to be a scandal where he was supposed to be preying on the students. Hey, Roxanne, preying on the students, and there's this accusation that he was misusing his position as mayor and his connection to the Democratic Club at the school. And I guess he's like a guest lecturer. He's not like a real lecturer. He's an adjunct, but not like adjunct in the way like I know people that are adjunct who they're basically slave labor for the college until they make it and get tenure. They're more like super respected guy that hey, we're going to let you do anyway. So initially that came out, and now this thing's come out from the Intercept. But Glenn Greenwald immediately like defended the guy and said this was ridiculous and a witch hunt. And then the Intercept came out with a report basically saying that this has all been set up by a couple of the students in the Democratic Club who've gotten donations from the opposition, and and they have their chats and stuff. They have like proof that they were planning this, and they found him on social media intentionally, trying to get him to say things they could then screenshot and whatnot and get him. But they
Yeah,
didn't
I
actually
haven't
get
looked into this at all, but I've
Alex
seen it
Mark.
like
Yeah,
circulating. So
Alex
I'm
Mark.
trusting you as a source here.
Well, I'm trusting. I only have the Intercept and Glenn Greenwald. The thing that kind of has bothered me about it to some extent is, for one, I feel like there's a big double standard in the left community on this one, where in this case, because before we knew anything like definitive, um, people went into camps of right wingers who were like basically being opportunistic and like, fuck this guy, he's evil predator guy, and they're trying to exploit it to because he's gay and they hate gay people, right? And they really love the narrative of gay guy preying on young men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a bunch of repressed gay people in the right wing, and that's their worst fear is that some gay guy's going to like convert them, right? Because they need so much converting.
Yeah, they know it's any moment. Like they can just walk outside, they see someone in short shorts, it's over. It's yeah, it's pretty
They,
scary.
they need a safe world from the booty shorts. Um, uh, but the other side that defended it also bothered me was this like this idea that no matter what, if it's a gay guy being accused, it's a witch hunt and there's nothing to it, and we need to dismiss it immediately. And it's like, if we believe victims, we're going to give them as much, benefit of the doubt as possible until we see a lot of evidence, right? Um, then it doesn't really matter if they're male gay victims or female straight victims, right? We They're victims, right? And we should give them the benefit of the doubt more so than the person with power that's putting out like statements that sound very legally like curated and all this shit, right? So that kind of bothered me. And Glenn Greenwald, especially, some of his stuff bothered me. Like he was on the edge of basically saying no sexual relationship among adults should be looked at all by the outside. It's none of your business, right? Even when there's power dynamics, like no, if there's power dynamics, I want to know if there's a power dynamic and it's being abused, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole basis of a lot of the sexual assault and harassment, cases.
Hmm.
And it feels like almost like this, in some ways, this was being used to exploit that by using the identity of being gay to kind of as a way to kind of try to push off the table all of the struggle for a kind of safe workspace for workers, right, over the sexual aggression of their employers or whoever, right? And Glenn Greenwald, I mean, he's really touchy about it because he's been accused with his partner of going after a young guy for a long time, and a lot of toxic people have gone after him. But I don't know, both sides. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that kind of thing. You don't
Well,
have
I
to like,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
make a
I don't know
judgment
much
on the
about it
case. Yeah,
other than I've seen like a few tweets with not much context. Some things I just like I'll look into it later, and then later never comes, and then here we are. I'm learning about it live.
I
But
have, yeah. I just want to respond because my co-host is here. Yeah, Chris, I have looked in it, and I don't think that there's anything to it. I'm just responding to the way it was responded to. I'm
yeah, I
not.
mean, yeah, like my thing is like I would prefer to believe victims first of all, but we all know the Democratic Party strategy is weaponizing everything that we believe in for real, but using
Right,
it against us. In
right.
the same way that like they'll say free speech 1 minute when they're defending like a neo-Nazi New York Times editor or whatever, and then all of a sudden like a leftist gets banned or canceled and it's like, oh, they deserve it. They're evil, right? Like these people will always weaponize everything that we truly believe against us. So it really is very difficult to kind of sift through those things unless there's like a very clear linear kind of like trail of like money transactions or like kind of people with like want or desire for revenge, and that's what it seems like given by what you've said and what I'm reading in the chat room. And so like at that point, I don't know, like there's this also the thing with Shahid Buttar that I didn't really look into it that much. I read the kind of accuser's story and it like wasn't that compelling, but it's also like I don't know. So it's one of those things where I think the whole idea is that it throws in the specter of doubt that it's like if you spend maybe a week unsure of it, then that is a week where they have the upper hand kind of a situation. That's my analysis.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Shahid's situation, I'm leaning a little more towards some of it not being very credible and the rest of it kind of being murky. So I'm not 100% on the Shahid thing. I'm not even 100% on the Alex Morse thing, though. I mean, I trust Chris quite a bit. Though sometimes on some of these situations we've kind of gone slightly differently on some of it, just interpreting what we do have available to us, right? Um, but yeah, so and again, so it's like I saw this comment from Glenn Greenwald where somebody in the chat said, "Oh, it's like my wife used to be my boss. I guess I'm a victim, right?" It's like, and then Glenn Greenwald says, "Oh yes, you must feel very much like a victim, like underneath it, ha ha," right? It's like, so I mean,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, like
there's
it's
other,
possible, but like
yeah,
if it works out, it works out. You know what I mean?
But whether it
Like
works out or not
yeah,
doesn't change the fact if there was an issue to begin with, right? The issue to begin with is still problematic. You continuing to choose to be with them later, that's your choice. That's fine. Like, well, yeah, it's fine. Do it if you want. That's okay, I guess. But it doesn't change that there was a problematic beginning to it, right?
for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
it's kind of like you might have started a relationship with somebody and you were toxic as fuck, and you grew out of being toxic as fuck and you stayed with them because you have all these experiences together. That was the foundation, right? Maybe that happens. That doesn't mean you being toxic as fuck at the beginning of the relationship is not bad. It's still bad, right? It's not like part of the fairy tale of you winding up together. And I mean, maybe there's more context to that particular story, but it kind of showed how Glenn is trying to create this just black and white, we have no business sexual relationships between adults. If college professor that's 45 years old and has 12 world-renowned book series wants to fuck their 19-year-old students, that's fine, right? It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, Glenn Greenwald, he makes a lot of these really brazen like statements that are very binary on so many issues, and oftentimes it just makes me cringe. Like whether or not I agree with him, like his method of delivery is just really cringy sometimes. Uh, and that gets frustrating. So I mean, I can talk like again, I haven't followed this. I haven't seen any of his tweets, but I can totally see him doing that like smug like kind of thing. I don't know. It gets frustrating, I think.
Yeah, he's very reductivist, and I feel like there's a danger there because you don't take the cynical exploitation of the issues we really care about and then like have that tail wag your dog and say, okay, we're just going to throw out the whole thing we care about then, right? It's like, no, that's not the right response. The right response is we have to do the frustrating work of looking at each case and having our take on it and having our battles. Like, it's not satisfying. Satisfying is like I wake up in the morning and I see red light, green light, and I know whether to go drive or stay still, right? It's like that's not the way the real world is. The real world is very complicated and nuanced and full of bullshit and liars and and it's hard, right? It's hard. But we
I
got to
mean, yeah,
try to do the
definitely.
right thing. Yeah. So.
Especially in politics, for sure. I mean, like, you can extrapolate this to any workplace dynamic or anywhere, but especially in politics, where everything's got like that public eye and spotlight, and how, like, oh, you're running for a race somewhere in like some not that important district or whatever. All of a sudden, you have people from Colorado attacking you online and sending you like death threats and stuff. So it's got that chance now with social media to just kind of run like a wildfire, just spread throughout like a whole thing. And yeah, it's super bizarre, super problematic.
Yeah, and like Fern says, he's accused of grooming his husband. So yeah, I get it. I get that it's personal. And he's also he's in Brazil. He lives in Brazil, so he has Bolsonaro there threatening to take his kids away. So I mean, he's in a very defensive position. But he's also a very smart guy. I don't know, he should be better, I think.
Yeah, and I mean that's the eternal struggle with Glenn Greenwald is I respect his journalism, but his Twitter is cringe. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So lots of interesting things have been going on as far as the election. We've lost some battles, we won some battles. We didn't lose any ground of the people we already had, to the extent that I like certain people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seems to trigger people, which I don't know why exactly. I understand why she triggers the right wing. I don't understand why people that are more so on the left seem to have a similar obsession to her. But
We're talking about AOC.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like there's this sect of the left that really wants to like cancel everyone. And I'm not trying to talk about like the woke neoliberal cancel culture, but like the like doomer nihilist, like everything sucks, bro, like those kind of people. That's like AOC made a tweet once, it's over. Like, yeah, okay, it can be cringe, but I mean, I don't know, you got to look at everything, and if you really do hate politicians and electoralism so much, why are you focusing on it to such an absurd degree? That's my thing. Like, if you want to say, hey, AOC, talk about this, and then like spam like protest footage or something like that, that's fine. But like, I don't know, when people go after people like AOC or Ilhan, it's like, ah, she finally did something and now she's canceled. I don't know. It's a little bizarre. It's frustrating. Um,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like recently I was watching your show and you interviewed this guy from your Discord, and I just want to put it up to you.
which one?
This was the guy who kept calling you bitch, bitch, bitch,
That's a
right?
good app. That's a good app.
And I just want to put it up to you because like I wouldn't have had that much patience to keep to keep that guy on the line. Um, but I mean that guy's just so fucking abusive, and and you just handle it like a champ. It was great. Um, But yeah, so basically this guy goes on your show. I don't know. I didn't catch the whole thing. Probably did I catch the whole thing? Maybe I
It's
did. I
like
think I
20
did.
minutes. It's not
Yeah,
that long.
I think I did because it was played as a video. It wasn't played live, right? So
Hmm.
yeah. And he was asking you about being trans and like calling you mentally dizzy or mentally having a mental condition.
Whichever. There's so many different ones. They're all
Right.
synonyms.
He kept wanting to know about your genetic type, right? Are you XY or XX, right? And because that was going to be the foundation of his argument, right? Was
And I just dismantled it. Like I just said, I don't know. I don't know what that means. And like it's really funny because like their whole strategy is like, oh, this person is stupid. I'm gonna make fun of them for being stupid. So when you play into it too much, it blurs the line between is this person actually stupid or pretending to be stupid, and it kind of just fucks their whole strategy up. And because these people just are dullards, they're not bright. It's just they have a hard time. Like I am able to adapt to a debate very easily. I've done this a lot, but like a lot of people, it's like, oh, I was just yelling at someone in a YouTube comment. Now they actually want to talk to me. Oh no, what do I do? Like these people don't know what to do. Like so when they come out of the gate running, and then you immediately just kind of frustrate their strategy. The rest is just like sputtering into nonsense.
Yeah, it's to me, it's like you took that guy that was in like the back hallway of the convention center at the Bernie Sanders rally, the guy who like unfurled the Nazi flag, and instead of like just knocking the fucking Nazi out on his ass, that very satisfying little clip that somebody keeps posting around, you talk to him and for like what for 20 minutes,
Something like
and
that, yeah.
and he just completely invalidated his opinion because he just sounds like a psychopath, right? And an idiot, right?
That's
Um,
my strategy. That's why I debate anybody. And usually like people that agree with me don't debate me, though. Like I need to maybe reorient that. Like I'm down to interview or be interviewed by anybody as well. But like I love just like debating people. I've also got this other debate that I think is super enlightening. A 3-hour debate with an anarcho-capitalist. And that one was super bizarre because like I kept asking these questions, and they would weave these elaborate scenarios where like poor people not being able to have roads is a good thing and stuff. And then I just like break their entire fantasy with like, well, how about this? Well, how about that? And then they just look foolish. They look very, very, very bizarre and stupid. And so that's my thing. Is like, if I'm just doing this and it's not recorded, who cares? Because then it's just like one versus one. But it's all about the crowd, because like when people come to my channel and they may be like centristy and they go like, oh, I don't disagree with this person on that many things. I think she's maybe a little bit too radical or whatever. And then they see that video and then they go like, oh, this is the kind of opposition that'll just move them further to the left, I think, by default. Um, and so that's
yeah,
kind of my strategy. Is I just, and also I love making fun of stupid people. Like, so that's like another thing. Is like that's so fun. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, and I was getting into an argument about voter shaming earlier in the Twitter. Yeah, Chris has used the word neo-feudalist to talk about ANCAPs. I mean, ANCAPs are like the Mad Max fucking libertarians, right? You just think they're the ones going to be in charge and everything's going to be wonderful, and
It's gonna be
somehow,
great. I
yeah.
promise.
There's a few of them that every once in a while like say like there's no way you could become a billionaire if it's like an anarcho-capitalist society. So
Yeah, we'll just shoot all the billionaires, right?
it's like apparently these people have never heard of like royal kingdoms or aristocratic lines. Like
the way I see it, like, I think we live in an anarcho-capitalist society. Like, our government is not functioning. It's a failed fucking institutional apparatus. It's just a bunch of gangsters that took it over and are holding it hostage. And I can't wait until December comes around and we don't know who won the election. And it's like, oh, I guess all this voting stuff is just a waste of time anyway. We could have been spending the last 6 months doing something more important.
yeah,
But,
yeah, no, I don't think the difference in like the argument of it's going to be easier to fight Biden is compelling to enough of a degree that it's worth spending a lot of energy on that. Like if you want to vote for Biden, fine. If you want to, I don't really support that, but if you want to vote for Trump, I'm gonna shame and tell you you're an idiot. And
that's my position exactly.
I'm gonna start shaming you if you talk about that. At least if you're voting for Biden, I can see that within the realm of that you can have some harm reduction rationale, right? The Trump people, they're really having to dismiss some major stuff, but I mean the Biden people too, right? So like
I
Biden,
think my thing is there's a difference between supporting someone, which entails donating, buying merch, getting bumper stickers, right? Like getting into Twitter fights, arguing with your family. Like that's supporting someone. Just saying, oh, I'm going to scribble on a piece of paper that takes 30 seconds to do months from now and then do other stuff with the rest of my time. That is a completely different thing. And I personally, I live in North Carolina. I will vote the way I phrase this. I will vote for whoever is polling highest against Donald Trump. So if Kanye West manages to bring it home, even if he's an GOP op or whatever, I don't care. I don't support anybody. I just want Trump to leave because he's garbage. So it's like, but I also think if Biden wins, he needs to be inaugurated from a bunker. He needs to like start the job, like hit the ground screaming. That's what I think. And also, I think now that we have Kamala as vice president, that's awesome. Like from the leftist perspective, like we're going to have a cop as president in like a year and a half from now during a giant global uprising against cops. That's great.
So this is my point, right? Like I don't think they're going to be easier to fight than Trump. We have one of the largest, if not the largest, sustained civil rights movements in the history of our country in the streets, right? Black Lives Matter and defund police and all these things, right? And mostly, centered around Black Lives Matter. And in response to that time, that moment in history, he nominated Kamala Harris. So what does that tell us about the Democrats' flexibility to the activism, the direct action activism of the country? It shows that they're going to do very similar things to Trump. I mean, it's very similar.
I agree for sure. Yeah. Like my thing though is that like they're not even trying, and I view that as a positive for my agenda. Is that like if they were trying, like if they were gonna like pick a nobody that nobody knows, like Susan Rice saying I don't know much about them or like whatever, like then we'd have to start from scratch. We got to research someone new. We got to agitate against someone new. But it's a familiar face. Kamala Harris, we've spent a year already like tearing her apart. We already know her terrible record in and out. So like it's not like Trump is going to really be able to break any new ground, So my thing is I think personally, I think Biden will probably win. I think that the election interference with the USPS and mail-in, and that's a huge shit show. And honestly, it could go either way. But if Biden wins, I think it'll be an easy enemy. I think it'll be like, because there's like the generation of young people, at least with Obama, he kind of pretended to be progressive and he kind of did like the song and dance and stuff. And people were like, okay, I trust that guy. I'm going to go to brunch now. But it's like now we're having this uprising. And again, it's all across the world, not just the country. And so like, and Biden's not even trying. Like they're not even trying to placate us. So there's going to be probably this contingent of people that go like, my job is done. But I don't think they were on our side anyway. I don't think that they were going to, when push comes to shove, do the important and necessary work anyway. So I think there's this generation of young people that are pissed the fuck off, and Biden and Kamala Harris will do nothing to alleviate them.
Yeah, I think they're going to antagonize the left. Like
exactly.
Bob there says he'll pacify us. I think on like Tuesday he might pacify, but on Wednesday he's going to piss us off again. So like he's not going to be the smooth talker like Clinton or Obama were. You know, like he doesn't have
Like
those abilities.
he
Neither does
doesn't have
Kamala.
the ability to string together a complete sentence, and then like the person that they're outsourcing all of this to is a cop. Like, and so it's like, I don't know. My thing is like, anyone that would be pacified by a Biden or Harris administration, I think they weren't really on our side anyway. I think it's kind of a waste of time to like, oh, well, let's have Trump do this because like Trump started 2020 with assassinating a foreign leader that could have started like a major war. You know, and I think Biden's foreign policy is horrible, but it's more like we can strategize around it more efficiently because it is something you can more easily identify. Like the neoliberal project, we know from the Obama administration, we know what they're going to do, we know how they're going to do it. Trump is very unstable, and that makes it harder to strategize against him, in my opinion. And I think Biden and Kamala are just super weak, like compared to Trump, in the way that like they're not trying to hide their cringe, they're not really doing anything to placate anybody, and it's also easier to read them, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Biden may just be a matter of us getting back into our old dance routine and kind of going through the motions, but things incrementally getting worse. Whereas, I mean, I'm not advocating for the. I'm not certainly not advocating anyone vote for Trump. Don't vote for Trump. Don't vote for either of them. I'm a Green Party vote guy, but like Trump at least kind of prepares you for what the fire we're going to have to pass through in order to get anything better. Like the person they're going to put in, if things really start to be threatened, is going to be someone like more like Trump, a more competent Trump, but not somebody so much like Biden. It's gonna be somebody, somebody that's willing to sick dogs on people and disappear people, right? And so I don't know. I don't know if it's better to have an incompetent version of that first that we're kind of used to, get used to it, or not. Either way, I think we're kind of fucked. Is my
Oh
position on
yeah, I mean, this is why like I think these arguments, like when people get really upset about them and say, "Oh, how dare you, good sir." Oh, like I don't know, it's like it's a waste of time. Like we could have spent that hour talking about how we're going to burn down a police station, but instead you're yelling at me because I live in a swing state. Like it's just like I don't know, it's very unproductive. I think one of the core things is we need to strategize and we need to organize in a way that it doesn't matter who's the president. Like if we can organize well enough, whoever's in the presidency isn't going to matter. And so like that's my strategy is I want people to be informed, I want them to be angry, and I want them to take out as much of their rage as possible on the political machine itself, regardless of who's steering the wheel, instead of like, you know, each other, instead of like, oh, you know, I'm a communist Marxist Leninist and you're not advocating to do this enough. And it's like, okay, but like I don't know, like it's just weird. I don't know. All the intra left fighting over very arbitrary cringe, I think, is very, I don't know. It's reeks of CIA stuff, honestly. Like I don't know. Like the idea that like anyone would spend hours arguing over the presidential ticket when they agree on 99% of the issues and also want to just go out and protest together is just weird. It's
yeah.
strange.
No, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, kind of arguing like what shadow under the water is bigger, you know. But yeah, I don't know if Biden's going to actually win at this point. You have Nate Silver just came out with his poll, or his prediction. So his odds right now are 71% Biden, 29% Trump, and he also tweeted out that at this time in 2016, it was strangely enough, the exact same odds. Hillary 71, Trump 29. Um, which I don't know if that makes him very popular other than at Fox News.
I think my thing with that is the independence. When you look at polls and you look specifically at independence, that is much lower for Trump than it was in 2016. Like he's emboldened the Republican Party. I think they're marching in lockstep like good little drones. But
Mhm.
the independents, I think, are the ones that actually gave Trump enough votes to be able to pull it off in 2016. I'm very skeptical. But again, all of this hinges on the fact that, oh, we're
A little bit of a lag there. Might be on my end, I suppose. Um,
vision. Oh shit. Hello?
yeah. Oh, there you are.
Hello?
Yeah. You're
Hello?
back.
Did I break?
You broke.
Hello?
You broke for 2 seconds. You here? Can you hear me?
Oh no.
I can hear you.
Oh no.
Here, I'm going to type in that I can hear you.
Did I break? Did I break? Did my internet turn off? Did I get owned?
I don't know. It says I can hear you.
You can hear me. Are we good? Are we good? Where did I stop?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we are
Oh,
good to go.
okay. All right. Uh, I can't remember what the line of thought was because my
I don't
brain
remember
didn't.
either. My brain is broken. It's past my bedtime. I don't know. I was saying something presumably profound,
Yeah,
and
usually
now it's lost to space, unfortunately.
Nate
Oh,
Silver.
oh,
Yeah,
oh
we were
yeah,
talking to Nate
independence.
Silver. Independence. Yeah.
But also, yeah. He's on national TV saying, he being Donald Trump, that we want to destroy the USPS, which is like, right? And he's saying he wants to do it specifically because it gives him an advantage in the election. So I don't know. And then you got Bill Barr in there. Like, I do think if there's a legitimate election, I think Biden will win. But I also think the chances of a legitimate election, at least compared to 2016, like in that amount of legitimacy, I think that is almost slim to none at this point.
Yeah. I mean, with the post office thing, Trump also took control basically of the reporting of the coronavirus cases.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a disaster.
So, I mean, he's putting in these very authoritarian moves in ways that are kind of clumsy because they're kind of obvious. Obviously, and you can see what he's doing. Effective authoritarians, you don't find out the shit they pulled until like 15 years afterward, right? Or after the revolution. Where
Well, also on a counterpoint, I do think social media and the internet age makes things like we're able to communicate a lot quicker and figure things out a lot quicker. So like there is like this new 21st century analysis of things that would be more difficult to analyze in real time, say 30 years ago even.
yeah, it'd be a great comedic scene in a movie about.
I'm going to sneeze.
All right.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. A great comedic scene of a movie set, of the dystopian times that we're in would be if somebody you have like the sage old advisor, like like in Doctor Strangelove or whatever. You'd have like the sage old advisor saying like, "Oh yeah, we can go ahead and do this or do that. It'll be fine. Nobody will put up with it, or nobody will complain, right? Nobody will notice." And they like give that advice, like, "Yeah, just take control of this. Just throw out the numbers, just change them. Nobody will fucking know, man." And you got that sage old character doing that, and then like they do it, and the next day, like the internet's just full of stories of like, look what they fucking did, and the sage old man just looks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things about the Trump administration that is like I'm not sure. It's totally possible that given disinformation and given the rate at which disinformation can flourish, it is totally possible that we could have the similar amounts of effectiveness as we used to. But at this current moment, I do think that disinformation campaigns aren't strong enough to get there quite yet. And information campaigns are like stronger at the moment, like in an eternal power struggle. But I don't know if it's going to stay like that. I mean, if Trump has the audacity and the power to ban TikTok, I mean, what are we looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, Fern is very excited about some of our lineup, I suppose. Hopefully, those people have access to some level of information to sound the alarms if things are going really bad. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, when it really comes down to it, what are they going to do? Are they going to be in the back room trying to compromise, or are they going to be sneaking out the back to find some clandestine media source and put it on the internet, and let us all know, they're coming, get out now. Like Bernie right now is he's campaigning for Biden, and most all the rest of these people are too, right? If not all of them. There's not a whole lot of, I am happy to see people like Peter Dow, people that usually you would have seen gone in lockstep, kind of saying, wait, hold on a second here. This is kind of bullshit. Um, uh, Sean King, notably just came out really strong for
That
Biden
was
and
hilarious.
Kamala,
That
which
was so
was,
funny. That
yeah.
was, oh my God, it was hilarious.
Did I know Bernie is a liar? Yes, Bernie is a liar. He lies about some things for sure, um, especially when he's supporting Biden.
Never have heroes, everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
How many times do we need to teach you this lesson? Wasn't two enough?
Yeah, wasn't your childhood enough?
That's true as well. I don't want to talk about that.
I wasn't calling you out specifically.
I know.
Yeah, we'll see. What's the rhyme about December? Remember the Ides of December, something like that. Except it's probably not December. It's probably just another ember.
I love embers.
But yeah, so David Sirota was another good one. But yeah, Sean King came out very strongly supporting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And it's just absurd. That's absurd. Like, I understand, like, I can forgive certain categories of people, and I do have double standards, right? Where I'm like, okay, you're part of the democratic machine. I understand you kind of have to do this shit. Um, to some extent, I can understand it. There are
Sean
trade-offs.
King has these like takes where he's like, he hits it like hard, and then he has these takes where it's like, holy shit, like, bro, what?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It
It's
doesn't.
really strange.
You can't be the anti-police and white supremacist violence guy, documenting all this shit, and then come out strong for Kamala Harris. Like you have to moderate that. Like he could have said, look, Kamala Harris is everything I'm fighting against, basically. But Trump is worse, and then I could still accept that. Like, but you can't come out strong for Kamala Harris. That's like there's a lot of people.
It's credibility damaging.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you're gone. I blocked him. I'm not even gonna pay attention to that guy anymore. I always want to promote.
Like you censored his free speech.
Oh yeah, I censored him.
Yeah, canceled.
I've been getting these fucking notifications recently. I don't know if you noticed any of my posts about it, but like I responded to Anna Navarro, whose dad was a Contra guy, right? And she still, openly is lovey-dovey about the fucking Contras. And
And we're not talking about the NES game, folks.
Yeah, actually, I wonder what the background of that is. Do you know? Is that about?
No, I don't. I'm a PlayStation person.
I
made a joke. I went over my head.
I really hope that isn't. I bet Chris knows because he knows everything. All right. So I make a post about it. Is that before or after you piss on the mass graves of the people, the Sandinista or the Contras, mass murdered and tortured and skinned alive, and in response to one of her, she was talking about like wanting to get like a Kamala body pillow or something weird. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Honestly, I would get that if I could steal it, or if it were manufactured by someone that would put the proceeds to a good cause. I would get a Joe Biden body pillow. I'd go to town.
No.
That sounds like some good content.
I couldn't have Creepy Joe in my bedroom. Fuck that.
I'm gonna snuggle Creepy Joe every night of my life.
But like, it immediately said, would you like to revise this post? I didn't say, nothing in the post was something that should have been picked up by an algorithm. I think I called her a psychopath, maybe, or maybe it was the mass graves thing, or you pissing on. I think they don't like the term "you," like when you call someone out specifically. You are like that phrase. Like the algorithm sees that phrase and goes, "Oh, you're calling them something, right? You're insulting somebody." And then it gave me a survey like, would the person you're sending to find this offensive? It's like, yeah, obviously.
Like, I hope so. That's the point.
This is part of but the implication of the survey was that you shouldn't, you shouldn't hurt anyone's feelings on social media on a very combative platform, which Twitter is. Twitter is a
That's the
combative
thing is like
platform.
if it's like random dude 69 that has like 4 followers, yeah, sure. Like I agree. But if it's like someone connected to global architects of evil, like come on, man. Like
Yeah, it's
in
like
the words of Joe Biden, oh, come on, man.
like if it's like their locked MySpace safe space community or something, and I'm going in there and insulting them and finding a way in, and evading like their own preferences and shit. Okay, fine. But she's speaking to the public. She was just taken on by Biden as like some kind of what's her position now in fucking the Biden campaign. Contra was set in the distant future of 2633, which where the evil Red Falcon organization, Red Falcon, okay, Red, right? So probably communist, have set a base on the fictional Gulaga archipelago near New Zealand in a plot to wipe out humanity.
Gulaga archipelago.
Galuga. It sounds a lot like a gulag, right? Gulaga.
Definitely.
Yeah.
My eyes are peeled.
we're waking up to the propaganda of Contra. That was a game I liked though. I did enjoy playing that game as a kid. It felt very like satisfying, the controls, except the little levels where you were going face forward and you had to go back and forth. Didn't feel as well programmed.
I've never played that fucking shit. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I've never played that.
It was one of those games where your weapons would keep getting stronger, and eventually you could like just kill like a whole map of things with your spread gun thing. And a lot of jumping over things and obstacles, and it was one of those things, if you get hit once you die, right? Games, which was never that fun, I guess. But and that was the famous up left right. I can't remember the whole thing though. There was a code at the beginning. If you went like up down left right A B, something like that.
The Contra code, as it's referred to as.
Okay, so you're aware of that. Yeah, I know you're in gaming a lot, so
I am a gamer, but I'm not a Nintendo gamer. I'm a PlayStation gamer. However, that is also used in PlayStation games. So
right,
because it is a gamer reference.
See, now I'm going to want to talk about Atari, and we're just going to be Coleco, and I'm going to show my fucking age some more. Duck Hunt.
I played Duck Hunt.
Double Dragons was better.
Hey, I got an NES game right here. Boom.
Fester's
Quest.
Yeah, I remember Fester's Quest. Is that the original?
Yes, NES complete box.
Okay. Yeah, I remember playing Fester's Quest. Not one of my favorites.
I've never played it. I got it in a bundle once.
It was
for whatever reason, it's just right there. So I was like, oh.
It's one of those top-down, like angled perspective, go around, find things, solve puzzles. I don't know if there's a lot of fighting in it. I think there might be a little bit. But let's see. Double Dragon was Ninja Gaiden was, I think, the best. I think out of
fucking lighters out, man.
If you want to play like peak Nintendo, I would say Ninja Gaiden. If you want the challenging, all you get hit once you die games, and then I think that if you get hit once, but it's really tough. A lot of really tough jumps and stuff.
I got to respond to the chat room. There is some vital misinformation campaigns being spread about. My favorite PlayStation game is not Doom. Doom is my favorite PC game and my favorite game in general. However, Doom for the PlayStation, it's an okay port, but there are better games than Doom for the PlayStation. So there's some vital misinformation, some propaganda, if you will, being posted in the chat room. I will read the message out for posterity. What's Andrea's fave PS1 game? And then the response, I will not name names here, but the response was Doom. Absolutely unforgivable response. So
what's your favorite PlayStation game?
Mega Man X6.
Mega Man X6, very specific. Are there more than one Mega Man X versions in
There's
PlayStation?
Mega Man X1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo. There's Mega Man X4, 5, and 6 on the PlayStation 1, 6 being the best. PlayStation 2 had 7 and 8.
I always like Mega Man. Mega Man was a very cool series of games. definitely did not mind that one. It was interesting. I always felt like you had to look up like what was best against what, and usually it was just like a certain ability did a shitload of damage against another guy, right? So was
Yes. I
yeah.
recently did my first live streams in over a year. I played through all the Mega Man X games, except X8, because that one sucks.
The real propaganda is that the N64 is a superior console.
That is
Um,
fake ass news.
um, the original Final Fantasy, definitely one of my favorite games all time. But I always appreciated those games more than like the Ninja Gaiden type games. I always like the
Brandon in
Infinite.
the chat, you should have watched the live stream. You can watch the archive, X4, 5, and 6 all in one stream. You could have watched that, but you chose not to. And now here we are.
But the I think the precursor to Doom was Wolfenstein, wasn't it? Was that the first of that genre?
Wolfenstein, thank you very much. Yes.
Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein 3D, right?
Yes.
Or was it 3D to begin with, or was that in a? Oh, okay.
It was Wolfenstein 3D, which ended with you killing Mecha Hitler. And then they released an expansion pack called the Nocturnal Missions, which were like a prequel where you go kill a bunch of like Nazi like super scientists and generals and stuff. And then there was Spear of Destiny, which was like, all right, you killed all the Nazis, but like, you know, there's a few left and they're trying to get the fucking no, it's a prologue where it's like Hitler is trying to get the Spear of Destiny, which is like some religious artifact that he's going to use in order to like become God or some shit. And then you go like steal it first.
So is this considered an like a anti-white racist hate crime video game now? In retrospect,
There was this tweet where like, you know, the Wolfenstein games got rebooted a couple years ago, and the
yeah.
Wolfenstein account was like, reminder, Nazis are like gonna get killed or something because like a new game was coming out. And then a bunch of gamers got like really mad. Why are you getting political? And it's like, dude, it's Wolfenstein, motherfucker. Like, oh, it's so dumb. I hate gamers. I'm going to destroy them all.
Yeah, I definitely have a love-hate relationship. About 99% of gamers are emotionally damaged in one way or another.
Included.
Yeah. So you know, some of those are decent people. I game
Some, on the
some.
other hand, are good people.
Yeah. So like I run I run a like an after hours guild on World of Warcraft still.
Oh, boomer.
Yeah, boomer. Um, but you know, like I get along with people. We don't all have the same opinions, but they're nice guys for the most part. And I have not run into like super toxic attitudes in the people I'm just inviting. Of course, I'm not going for the tryhards. The tryhards are like the really psychotic ones usually. And then you get like pugs, you get to invite random people and you get toxic people. Like one guy tried to join, his name was like Donald Trump, and like with the letters changed, you know, to like italics or
right?
accent marks or whatever, or German font, whatever. And I'm just, you know, you just block him. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, there's good people, there's bad people. I think some of the problem is there's like in the streamer community, there's a lot of really toxic people that are kind of elevated by other toxic people. So like,
oh, okay. You might not know this. I don't know if we talked about this. I used to be a streamer for several years. So I actually used to be a very toxic streamer because I used to get a bunch of like gamer bros giving me thousands of dollars saying, yeah, awesome. And it's like, all right, cool. You know? And then it's like, and then you realize it's like, oh yeah, this all sucks and everyone is the same. And it's all like, oh, we're going to make fun of these people and those people. And it's like, okay, this is boring, you know, but it's like, the streamer culture, when you start taking off, it's hard because the money is so good. I used to get thousands and thousands of dollars a month for like just like going on like random rants where I scream at like, you know, the video game and say fuck shit like, you know, all that crap. And then and it's just like it's like it's hard because when you have a bunch of racist motherfuckers that are your source of income, that's problematic. And that's one thing that really taught me. It's like, yeah, wait, let's apply that to literally the entire political structure because it's all funded by racists.
yeah, I mean, you got to give it up to racists to and bigots for at least putting some money where their mouth is. But again, a lot of times they're the ones from families that have a lot of money, right? They're the ones whose daddy gives them $1,000 a month allowance.
Yeah.
Um, so like I was on Asmongold once. I don't know if you know who Asmongold is. Probably not. He's a WoW streamer guy, but he's like pretty high up there. And he had a video where he was upset at players who decided to play a female character, right? And he's like this twiggly guy, right? He's not like very masculine. So I'm like, what's more of a stretch?
In other words, a
Somebody,
beta male.
yeah, somebody playing a female character, or you playing an orc, right? Who's like this giant muscle bound fucking monstrosity, right? And
That's
I,
when you realize gender is just a bunch of stupid shit. It's so dumb. Like, oh
like,
yeah,
right,
I was born with a penis, so in video games I will LARP as a giant muscle man. It's like, what?
but
What?
but I mean, the whole basis of his idea is really derogatory in general, and couched in misogyny and anti-trans attitudes, right? The idea that you're going to play with gender and all these kind of things. And so I just kind of like I humorously made fun of him. But like as soon as he played my video in a response to him, this was one of my early videos, like the stream in his chat, and he's got like hundreds of people that watch him at a time. The
Mm-hmm.
stream in his chat was just like faggot, 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 faggot,
Yep,
faggot,
yep,
faggot, like,
yep.
like, it's like the fucking machine gun of fucking
Exactly.
horrible, you know,
Exactly. And if that's your bottom line, if that's what you're getting paid for, of course they're going to perpetuate that. Because why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish, right? Like, of course.
right. And, it's one of the reasons I have an issue with things like Super Chat. It's the same thing, right? You're going to get, it's like, where does most of the Super Chat money come from? It comes from fucking Trump supporters, right? If you go, and that's why it's designed that way, because they want you to see a comment, see the monetary value next to it, and get a thinner G string for next video,
Exactly. Exactly.
um,
For sure. That's that on.
yeah. So no, it's really sad. It's tough because sometimes you want to get something done in a game that's a social game, and you got to deal with toxic people, and it's like, am I just going to let this guy be him, or am I going to kick him and maybe the group doesn't fucking work because we had to get rid of the fucking bigot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, sometimes I just turn the game off and don't play for several months or a year at a time, but I always end up. It's like knitting for me, It's like this mindless thing I can do, right? That's just kind of passes the time. Like some people watch TV shows and whatnot. Um, but I enjoy this or like the political stuff, the pure political stuff more. Trying to be political and talk about a video game, and a lot, the reason I talked about the video game is to begin my show way back when, for myself, was I say there's a lot of attention at this. Maybe I can make some money and just do
Exactly.
something do something that is not like actively like contributing to this horrible capitalist structure, right? Even though it is to a certain extent, but it's like it felt a little more harmless than other things, right? Instead of like trying to go out there and help a hospice company get the patient before the other hospice company and turn this fucking the an industry of dying, into profit. Maybe I can just comment on a video game, right? But like, it just end up being like always reacting to that horrible right wing psychotic attitude among all these fucking incel brats, that I don't know. Thanks, Mike. I'm okay. Um, um, but it's we keep doing the things we do, and it felt like an adulteration of what I wanted to talk about anyway. Um, but anything else you've been thinking about looking at lately that's you want to talk about?
I mean, we can spend this last bit. I'm smoking an herb compilation of a bunch of lucid dreaming herbs that I've discovered. It tastes like shit, but I'm pretty tired. I'm going to go to sleep as soon as the stream is over. So,
Cool.
If you've been reading my tweets or watching my content at all, I've been on this beat. Dream therapy, man. This shit's gonna make you a fucking better person. Not you, as in you specifically. I mean, though you could, use a shape up. I think your hair needs some more wetness, but yeah, I'm so sorry to expose you. but no, I mean, like for me, it's like it's so good, um, for exploring my inner brain, um, and it really
Mhm.
helps with me like figuring things out about myself. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially being online, is you're always better when you're confident, and confidence is something I've always not had, um, just ever. And so like dream therapy has been very, very excellent to me. So that's my message. Um, Being more in tune with your inner humanity will make you a better communicator. It'll make you a better, like leader, organizer, I think. I think it's awesome. So this has been my beat lately.
Yeah. Some people get a lot out of meditation and things.
That also, yeah. I've been trying to combine meditation with that because meditation is very good for stimulating your brain to dream about specific things. One of the ways I pitch this is you're asleep for 33% of your life. You know? 33. I'm 24 years old. I know. But I'm 24 years old. 8 or 9 years of my life, I've been like sleep, probably 10, because, I had depression for almost my whole life. Like, I've been in a rock state on like a mattress that's not even comfortable, And so it's like when I can, when I look at it in that perspective, I want to spend that time as alert and aware as possible. Um, and I've been doing this for like 2 to 3 months now, and it's been great.
yeah, I'm a big advocate of sleeping more for sure. Which is probably because I don't get enough sleep, but um, like, but a lot of it is not. It's like a privilege to be able to sleep more for a lot of people. Like
Oh yes,
your life just does not allow for adequate sleep. So hopefully we get to a world at some point where you can sleep in as much as you fucking want, right? Because like literally people are not getting enough sleep and it damages your health and your mental state
for
and your
sure,
emotional state and your hormones and everything, right? Like if your body wants you to sleep, like there's this thing like taught to us that like if you want to sleep, if you sleep too much it's going to be bad for you. It's like no, if your body wants you to sleep, there's a reason why it wants you to sleep, so you should sleep if you can. And anyone who tries to guilt you about that should shut the fuck up. um, but but we don't live in that society. We live in a Protestant work ethic shame society, which is you got to get up at the crack of dawn. Get up at 4 o'clock, milk those cows, right? So the bank can collect its revenue off of the loan you have on the farm, and then when they have use for your farm, they'll foreclose and steal it from you.
yeah,
Um,
everything is so rigid and scheduled, and everyone's lives are so busy. A lot of people work two jobs, so they can only sleep like 4 hours a day and like 2 hour chunks in between shifts. And it's very unhealthy. Um, because it's like if you want to do that for a week or something, say you're grinding out a project, that's one thing. But when it becomes a normal, when it becomes like this is how your life is now, and most people like it's a slippery slope between, oh, I'm going to do this for a couple weeks maybe to get ahead on something, and then all of a sudden 5 years later, when's the last time you slept more than 6 hours?
right, and
you
then you
know
get in a huge car accident, and because you weren't getting enough sleep and you just fell asleep at the wheel.
for sure.
Um, not to mention other things that happen. I mean, Jesus Christ, like the level at which you become just a slave to your reactiveness, your
You become
emotions.
barely
Yeah,
conscious in a lot of instances, like you're just kind of on autopilot, pulling the levers in your factory or like whatever.
yeah, it's
And
like
then that's how things happen, where it's like, oh, whoops, I expected something else, all of a sudden I've driven off a cliff. Oops.
right. Yeah, you become not
Metaphorically and figuratively
yeah,
and whatever, yeah.
you become unsafe, unhealthy, a negative influence on people around you. I think, yeah, I mean, I think sometimes people like to just kind of binarily categorize people as either good or bad. Sometimes you just need more sleep.
Yeah, that exactly. Like that's one of the things I'm trying to promote is people like, you know, taking your fitness, your health, your sleep, every little thing, because we're not taught anything about this in school. You are taught like, oh yeah, you sleep. Ding ding, get your 8 hours, right? Whatever that means. But you have to come to school at 6 a.m., 5:30, get your 8 hours, but you got to get here at 5, right? Like, that's a little weird. And then as far as nutrition goes, they tell you nothing. They like give you literally no information about nutrition at all, unless you take like some advanced course that no one's going to take,
Well,
because why
yeah,
would
a
you?
lot of times that's full of shit too. A lot of that, but they can't have they can't they can't give people a good education and protect the community, the consumer, um, about food, because what that would do is it would reduce the amount of externality of the profit exchange of the consumer, the buyer and the seller,
Yep.
from society. Uh, by people making more informed choices. They would say, "Well, yeah, that's like fucking poison. I'm not going to buy that." And then like the fucking guy who makes the saltwater taffy, loses money, right? Or what, pixie sticks or whatever, and there goes that profit. And you're supposed to this we're supposed to absorb and subsidize their profits through our poor health. We're the externality, and that's the part of the equation of the producer of the product, the consumer of the product, and then the consequence. They just take their profit, just
An
because the dollar
interesting
exchange.
an interesting kind of comparison is if you look at the advent of processed food from around the 1960s, and then compare that to the increase in cost of healthcare per citizen, it's astronomical.
Yep.
And we're just like taught like, oh yeah, this will save you 5 minutes in the evening, you pop it in the microwave or whatever instead of cooking a meal. All of a sudden 10 years later, you've got diabetes, you've got heart disease, you've got all this stuff that you didn't need to have, but there's been like the whole breakfast is the most important meal of the day thing, completely manufactured by cereal companies to sell more sugary things to random people, to make them unhealthier, make them addicted. It's all a racket, it's all a
Yep.
scam. Like, and it's ridiculous. Again, sleep, like food, like water, like nutrition. How the hell did we let capitalism leech itself into all this basic shit? Like, if capitalism could bottle and sell oxygen, it would. It would give you oxygen with 50% carbon monoxide for taste. Oh
Yep.
yeah, let's just get my carbon monoxide. It tastes good, right? Like capitalism has rotted our brains. It like infested every little thing, and I don't know. I hate it
Well,
all.
it's inevitable with the leverage and the control they have over our institutions. It's just squeeze more out of us. That's I mean that's the slime, the hive slime, just marching forward, not having any responsibility to the community or the society or humanity, or the world. Um, so let's all have a toast of cyanide. Let's not actually, but
We'll take a microdose, just
we'll take
enough
a
for the
microdose.
taste,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then yeah, it tastes good, right?
What I forget what that line of health field is called, but it's absurd, right? Although some things at very small doses do, I guess, have an effect. So, but I don't want to. I know you wanted to keep to about an hour. Always
Yeah, I mean
appreciate.
this is around a good length for me.
Yeah, always appreciate everyone in the comments. If you guys get a chance to check out Brandon's shows, he does a great show. It's one of the things I've been watching more recently, with Not Safe for Wonks, which is good because it doesn't include the work part, not safe for work, because we don't want to put things in the context of what work wants, because fuck the people that control work. Of course, fuck wonks too. But anyway, it's a great show. They got great content on there. I know I'm
I'm going to
promoting
be
it.
there on Monday if all things go well.
Yeah.
Hell
Oh,
yes,
what work are you doing on Monday?
with the not safe for wonks.
Oh, okay. You're going to be on Not Safe for
Yeah,
Long. Sweet. Yeah.
assuming they don't kick me off. You know, let's say, like it could happen. I could get canceled between now and Monday. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, Andrea has her own YouTube channel, which I'm struggling to find the link for because I'm seeing Speed Dog here on your profile.
That's got my links to everything. My
All right.
YouTube channel is Cyber Demon 531. My Premiere Show is above it all. So that is the thing I do. Speed.dog has got the links to all of the important stuff about me, although I haven't updated it in like 7 months. But that's not important right now. If you want to find my YouTube, go to speed.dog, go to the links section. You got it. If you want to email me, Andrea at speed.dog. I pay money for that. So use my email, please. Thank you. And that's all I got.
All right. And you can find the speed.dog link there. I don't know. Can you just type speed.dog into a browser and get
Yeah.
there? Oh, okay. Because that seems like a really short. But that's good. We'll put that. Brandon already got it in there.
Speed
All
dot motherfucking dog.
All right. We got an institution here with us on the show. Thank you very much, Andrea, for coming on. It's great talking with you again. I hope you'll come back.
I will. If you want to slot me in, I don't know. I'm fine. I'll do whatever.
Sounds good. Get you back more frequently. I always like talking with you. Okay, guys, you take it easy. Be good out there. And you can be the dog at speed. Okay. Yeah. Well,
if you want, I mean, it's available. Dog at speed.dog. That is the thing.
I do look a lot more handsome with a mask, so I can get a dog mask.
There
All
you
right.
go.
You guys take it easy. Okay.